mind among you may notice that there is something missing. Have a look up. It is, of course, the ceiling. If you remember from the films, the Great Hall ceiling was enchanted, and it would have been a bit tricky to get stars and clouds in here. So those are all added later, magically, using computers. But although the ceiling isn't real, the floor, if you give that a spat for me, that most certainly is. That's real York flagstone, which is found in castles up and down the country, and was used to weather the wear and tear of being a main set. Now, I think we'll turn our attention to the four houses now. And where better to start than Hufflepuff House? Standing tall on the central plinth is Cedric Diggory's costume, worn by Robert Pattinson in the fourth film, The Goblet of Fire, for his final trial as a tournament task. Across from them we have Slytherin House. The costume in the centre there belongs to Draco Malfoy, worn by Tom Felton in The Order of the Phoenix. If you look closely at his chest, you will see his Inquisitorial Squad pin badge given to him by Professor Umbridge. Next to Slytherin House we have Ravenclaw, and the rather bedraggled-looking robes in the centre there belong to Moaning Myrtle, the ghost of the girl's bathroom, who some don't actually realise was in fact a Ravenclaw. And now down to the house of our heroes, the red and gold of the brave Gryffindors. Now some of my absolute favourites are here. We're joined by the jumper-sweater fusion that Neville wears during the final battle of Hogwarts. Really sums up what it means to be a Gryffindor. Who else would be brave enough to face off against the Dark Lord and his minions wearing knitwear? Certainly not myself. And then over in the corner here, this is very exciting. We have little Harry. Now these are the first set of robes that Daniel Radcliffe ever wore on set during Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone over 20 years ago now. They come complete with his tiny wizarding cap that he only ever wears in that first film. It's amazing that we have this here with us today, so please take as many photos as you like. Now down to the house of our heroes. As Ron, Harry and Hermione would have done all those years ago, they would have walked through to the teacher's table, which at the time would have been filled with some of Britain's finest acting talent. But not today. Today we are joined for the first time ever by the magnificent Frog Choir, led by the equally magnificent Professor Flitwick. You might remember this scene from The Prisoner of Azkaban, when the frogs would all sing to the tune of Double Double Toil and Trouble. Now the frogs themselves are all made out of silicon, which is a rather skin-like rubbery material. It's also rather heavy. So heavy, in fact, that the actors couldn't physically hold the frogs up and sing at the same time. So what they ended up doing is getting other cast and crew members to hide behind the Hogwarts robes and puppeteer the frogs for them, so that they could focus on giving a really good singing performance. And that's a good job they did, because it ended up looking really good. Now for your first secret of the day. In the corner here we have our tall friend, Rubius Hagrid, played by Robbie Coltrane. The secret is, this is not Robbie's costume. No, he was a tall man, he was around 6'2", but that's nowhere near tall enough to play the role of a half-giant. So this costume belongs to his size double, an ex-England rugby international called Martin Bayfield. Now, Martin was a lot taller, he was around 6'10", still not tall enough to play the role of a half-giant. So what they ended up doing is putting stilts into his shoes. They padded out the middle of his costume a little bit and added an animatronic head on top, which resembled Robbie Coltrane. You'll see that a little bit later on in our Creatures Workshop. Now I'm afraid our time in the Great Hall is coming to an end, so just a few things before I leave. If you have one of our digital guides with the green lanyards, your tour starts around the corner by the director's board, and you're looking for numbers or icons. They tell you a little bit more about the area that you're in. If you have one of our tour passports, the little blue books, you guys are looking for stamping locations and 16 golden snitches which are hidden throughout the tour. Some of them are big and some of them are small. I'll give you the first one for free. It is hanging just in the archway of the Great Hall as you leave, so keep an eye out for those. It's a great game for everyone to play. Well, that's all from us here at the Great Hall. Thank you very much for visiting during our Mandrakes and Magical Creatures feature. You are now free to go behind the scenes and explore the most magical film series in the world. Enjoy.